Hello everybody, I'm Mark Goldbridge, welcome to the United Stand, and I can't believe we're already doing a video entitled It's Time to Talk About Ruben Amorim. Trust me, I don't want to talk about Ruben Amorim, but after last night's show, it's very, very clear that there is a growing movement against this manager already. I can't believe I'm saying those words, but just looking at some of your comments without going onto the cesspool that is social media, excuses, Amorim is responsible. No manager gets a lot of new players. He should be able to get results with what he's got. Manager's job is to get the best out of the players he's given. David Moyes has improved Everton. Amorim has not improved Manchester United. And you're telling me that to beat teams like Wolves, he needs new players. Just a selection of some of your comments from last night. And I actually, after the show last night, was quite down. Not like mental health down, but like about the state of the football club. I think we're always down. But I was in the group for the United Stand, and I was saying there is genuinely a movement against this manager already. It's a fact. You can deny that, and I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know where it's coming from. It certainly won't be coming from the majority of match-going fans, etc. So I don't know who's doing it. Certainly not the United Stand, but it is out there. Maybe you're doing it off your own back. I don't know, but I feel sort of, there's an interview coming out with Erik ten Hag tomorrow, and I don't know whether that's going to help or hinder Ruben Amorim. Probably hinder. And I don't think we're going to get loads out of that interview, by the way, because Erik ten Hag has been given 10 million quid 4 months ago and will still be under a non-disclosure agreement, NDA. So I can't imagine he's going to sit there and slate players and the ownership, because otherwise he wouldn't be getting the payout. But we are already talking about Ruben Amorim, and I feel that if I don't say this now, and maybe some of you would like to say it as well, we're just going to spiral into the same repetitive cycle at a shorter period of time. I'll sort of pick some of that up, but I don't understand why we're having this conversation. I don't understand why people are already turning on Amorim. There's a toxicity in this fan base that makes me want to throw up. And I said this when Ten Hag got the sack. The toxicity towards Ten Hag was vile at times from certain fans. People wanted to beat him up. They were calling him a fraud, talking about his hair loss, the lot. It was too much. There is banter and there is venom. And for some people, it was venom. It was never banter, no matter how they try and pretend it was. And I said at the time, they've got rid of Ten Hag now. That will not be the end, because angry people don't get happy quick. And I feel that the anger that resonates in this fan base has moved quickly onto another target in Ruben Amorim. I think a lot of people are facing the fact that the anger should be based on the fans, on the players and the owners, but the manager is certainly getting it. And I am baffled. So it's your comment section. I am baffled by this, how a manager who comes in with a completely look, whether you like it or not, and I'll argue this with anybody, those people saying he needs to adapt and change his formation, you're wrong. Like, you are wrong. Absolutely wrong. He doesn't need to change his formation. He doesn't need to adapt, because we brought him here. He didn't walk in and say, please give me the job. I want the job and I'll do anything to get the job. We brought him here. He didn't even want to come till the summer. So if you want this manager to change, we shouldn't have gone for this manager in the first place. This is an Ineos decision. They got him to come here 6 months early. So he comes in, quite rightly says, lots of work to do. I'm going to stick with my principles and we'll gradually get where we need to get. 3 months later, people don't want to do that. 3 months ago, patience, they're singing take that, have a bit of patience. 3 months later, we've got a percentage of our fan base that don't want to be patient anymore. He should change. He should be getting Moyes. He should be getting results like Moyes. We should just play any style of football just to get some results. What are these results going to get us then? What results are these? And this is where you need to pick it apart. So we go to presumably a back four, which failed a year ago and failed for Ten Hag. So we go back to a back four. What sort of results are you grinding out? And what results do they deliver? So we start grinding out a few 1-0s against Ipswich, right? we're not going anywhere in the league. 9 points in the league won't help us anymore. We're done in the league. You really think we're going to grind our way to a Europa League or an FA Cup, playing like we did under Ten Hag? And people will say, well, we won the FA Cup with Ten Hag. Amorim's not Ten Hag. That was Ten Hag's system. You're asking Amorim to copy Ten Hag's system. Why did we sack Ten Hag then? So I don't get the formation change. I don't get the tweak. I don't get what the problem is. And I got messages sent to me on Saturday night about he's got to change the system now. Even you've got to agree he's got to change the system now. And I'm like, why does he need to change the system when in the last half an hour we should have won the game, but for the first hour the players didn't turn up again? That's not systematic. It's not 5-star. It's bloody no stars. It's crap. And it's from the players, that is. So I don't get the system thing. And I've said it many, many times before. Why employ a plumber and then ask him to wash your car? It doesn't make any sense. So going through some of the criticisms, I mean, look, you're going to get people saying he's a fraud, did it in the Portuguese league, can't do it in the Premier League. Well, I don't see the basis on that. You're going to get people saying, oh, Moyes has done a good job at Everton. It's Everton. It's bloody Everton. Like, it's not Manchester United. It's not Manchester City. It's not Arsenal. It's not Liverpool. It's Everton. And I would, we played Everton at the weekend. I didn't walk away from that game going, whew, what an amazing side. How did we get back into that? I think they do the basics very well, Everton. And I don't think David Moyes could get these players to do the basics very well, but Everton players, fair play to them, they will do the basics very, very well. Everton's players will apply themselves better than our players, and our players haven't been applying themselves for a decade. So I don't think David Moyes would get anything out of this Man United side that Ruben Amorim's not trying to get, because we watch the game together, our players don't turn up for an hour, Everton players do. So maybe that's why David Moyes is getting results out of Everton, because they're doing the basics well. They are winning set pieces, they are playing simple passes, and they are putting intensity in. The basics done well. That's David Moyes. That's his book title. The basics done well, and it works for teams like Everton. You give David Moyes the Man City job, he'll be out in a week, because he wouldn't know what to do with the likes of Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. So the David Moyes thing's ridiculous. Also, people who say, so you're telling me that a manager needs players to be good. He should be able to get results out of the players he's given. Why did we sack Erik Ten Hag then? If Amorim should get the result from the players he's given, why did we sack Erik Ten Hag? He actually bought these players. Why did we sack Erik Ten Hag if we're going to bring Amorim in and expect him to get results with Ten Hag's players? I've never heard such nonsense in all my life. The whole point of a manager coming in with a is to be given the play. Look, Pep Guardiola went through 3 goalkeepers before he got on Edison. How many right backs did he go through? Like, manager comes in with style of play and has to figure out the players for his style of play, but they always get the players. I've never heard such nonsense in all my life that Amorim should be able to get results with the players that he's got. Erik Ten Hag couldn't get results with these players, and he bought most of them. So why should Amorim get results out of Ten Hag players? He's got to be given his own players. And hello, Dorgu looks like a very, very good signing for an Amorim system. So hey-ho, let's give him a few more. Does he need those players to beat the likes of Wolves? Well, I mean, I think people forget that we did win at the Etihad. We did not get beat against Liverpool at Anfield. And we knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup. So he has had results. We beat Everton 4-0, and people were saying Amorim ball, and Amorim was saying no, not yet. So I think the overarching thing here is, and I'd go back to what I said, we need to talk about Ruben Amorim, but I don't actually know why we need to. Maybe those in the chat can explain, because I think we need to just be very, very careful here that we don't get distracted. Patience with the manager is the only word. I'm all open for conversation, and that's why I'm doing the video, because I'm very intrigued to read the comments again, and I'll be stunned if I don't see the same stuff over again, which is he should be able to get better results with these players. Clearly, he should be changing his tactics again. Moyes has got good results with Everton, but I've just been through all those things, and really, Moyes getting the basics out of Everton players, we can't get the basics out of players, we never have, because the players just can't do the basics. Managers should always be given the players that they need to play their system, and we don't have those players. So you're telling me, well, the scary thing is with Ineos actually closing the canteen and stuff like that, maybe they did do what I'm about to say, but you're telling me Ineos brought Amorim in and didn't realise that his style of play doesn't suit this club and we're going to have to rebuild the club. I mean, it's terrifying to think that they might have thought, Man City want him, let's bring him in here and we'll be great. They don't know what they're doing. Do they really not know what they're doing to that extent? I'll pose that question to you. Do you think Ineos didn't realise that by bringing Amorim in, they'd have to rebuild the team entirely? Do you think they brought him in and thought he'll just get results straight away? Because if they did, it's worse than I thought. I mean, even I don't think they know what they're doing, but even I don't think Ineos didn't realise that bringing Amorim into this football club with a completely different style was going to need a completely new team. It doesn't go hand in hand with the fact that we've got no money, but surely they didn't do that. Surely they didn't bring him in and think, oh, he'll just get results with these players, because that was never going to happen. Of course not. So for me, it's about patience, it's about the future, and it's about time. And I'd give Amorim 5 years. I think his contract's not long enough. I'd give him 5 years. I'm more than happy to stick with this manager for the next 5 years and sort of go through what we did with Sir Alex Ferguson, where 86 to 90, we didn't win anything. Well, we won the FA Cup in 90. That was 4 years. It was a complete rebuild. The club needs a complete rebuild. So from a playing point of view, I'd be happy to keep Amorim for the next 4 years, 5 years. I really would. But it seems to me after 4 months, people are already questioning the manager. And again, I'll pose the question, where would you go next? What's your plan now? Oh, Xavi's available. I mean, is Xavi not just Amorim? Like another guy with a distinctive style of play that would need the support? And after a few set of results with these players, people start saying he's not the guy. When are we going to stop judging new managers on players that we already know aren't good enough? I think the distraction is incredible, and the distraction takes us away. To me, when we want to talk about why Man United are in the bottom half of the table, there's 2 big reasons: the playing staff and, more importantly, the ownership model. Until those 2 things change, I don't know why the guy in the middle is the target. I think it's lazy. I think it's boring. It's like the Manchester Evening News this morning talking about Rasmus, and tomorrow it'll be De Ligt. They've got their agendas. Some of you agree with those agendas, but at the end of the day, it's just distraction. Why do these journalists always turn up on a Monday with a dressing room source? Because they're distracting us. Why are they distracting us? Because the club probably give them the information to distract. Because these journalists don't actually talk about the big issues because they're clients of the club. Oh, please, I need a press conference access. I need this, that, and the other. We don't get proper conversations from them, so we have to have proper conversations ourselves. And I think that the pointing the finger at the manager is just so boring. It's so archaic. It's so lazy. And the recent evidence is staring us in the face. I can't believe there are Man United fans out there that are turning on Amorim. But I can accept that. But when I look at the reasons for it, the justification is that he should be getting more out of these players. And yet these players, I hear constantly online and on here, aren't good enough. So what more should he be getting out of these players? Some of them are young and they're going to need patience anyway. But some of them are established. What more can he get out of Harry Maguire? What more can he get out of Onana? What more can he get out of Dalot? What more can he get out of Bruno? What more can he get out of Casemiro, out of Eriksen? Some of these players have been here long enough that we know what they are. They're not suddenly going to turn into something else. Like Harry Maguire is not going to suddenly turn into, Virgil van Dijk. He's just not. And Bruno Fernandes is not suddenly going to turn into a Martin Odegaard. It's not going to happen. They are what they are. And even on recent weeks, recent years, we know for years that you never know what you're going to get with this United team. Because no manager is ever going to get them to play for 90 minutes. Nobody's ever been able to do it. They're just not capable of doing that. And that's always going to be problematic. It's not system specific. It's not manager specific. It's very much squad specific. They don't have the mentality to start a game and finish a game with a 90-minute performance. And that is not on the manager. And it's certainly not on a manager that didn't buy these players as well. If I walked into a new job, any job as a manager, and then within a few months, my boss is saying, oh, your job's in danger. Why? Oh, this lot are crap. I go, hello, I didn't employ any of this lot. I've asked you for new staff, you won't give it me. If I'm a restaurant manager and, you know, the staff ain't good enough, the chef ain't good enough, the waiters aren't good enough, you know, everybody's not good enough. And after 3 months of saying to the owner, I need to replace this staff, I need to replace this staff, I need to replace this staff, and they're going, no, you can't at the moment. And then TripAdvisor's giving us bad reviews, and then the owner says, your job's in danger, we're still getting bad reviews. And I go, hello? Can you say that again? Yeah, your job's in danger because we're still getting bad reviews. Are you being serious? I literally said, a lot of this staff ain't good enough, that's why it was shit before I came here. I've asked you to replace them and you've said not till the summer, and now you're blaming me for the reviews. Are you having a laugh? I told you they're not good enough. And also, before I came here, they weren't good enough. And now they're not good enough. I need to replace these people. I'm not taking responsibility for them not being good enough. And that's where we are. Like, we were shit before Amorim came in, and we're still shit with Amorim here, because ultimately, he's not been given the time or the resources to make the changes. You, as manager of Man United, and I, as manager of Manchester United, none of us are going to sit here and go, put your checkbook away, Sir Jim. Glazers, give yourself some dividends. We're cooking with what we've got. I don't know what Ten Hag was doing. These players are gold dust. Don't worry about it. Get your dividends out. Sir Jim, you put your wallet away. I know it was away anyway, but don't leave this to me. This set of players, league title. Forget Project 21, Project 26. We're going to win the next 5 in a row. It's not going to happen, is it? No, you're not going to do that as a manager. I'm not going to do that as a manager. So, look, I think that, yes, we can have the conversation about Amorim, but I'm very interested to read the comments because I just don't see a line that's worth crossing at the moment in relation to this. But trust me, it depressed me last night. It's actually starting, and I don't know why. I don't know whether there's been somebody in the media, someone in the social media pushing Amorim out, but it's definitely starting and it's definitely building. And I've got no idea what the source is, but I can't even find a coherent argument for it. Patience is the word. What Moyes is doing is irrelevant. A formation change is irrelevant. Getting the best out of a bunch of players that weren't good enough before he came in is irrelevant. Time and patience is relevant, and a big summer transfer window is going to have to be relevant. Otherwise, we will be having this chat next year, and he probably will lose his job. But I go back to what I said before. Why did Ineos bring in a manager with a very distinctive style of play that is completely opposite of what we're playing, and then not think they've got to build an entire new team? He can't be successful in this. No manager can be successful with this because, as we know, these players aren't good enough. And that is why a lot of people, in my opinion, intelligently are saying, what's going to happen with Onana? What's going to happen with Bruno? What's going to happen with this? Because ultimately, the issues on the pitch are the players. They're not responsible. They should be sacked, replaced, kicked up the arse, whatever. That goes back to the ownership, but it certainly doesn't go back to the manager. Not in my opinion. And I don't know why we're having this conversation, because it's distracting. If this Amorim out movement grows and isn't suppressed, suppressed is the wrong word. I don't want to suppress opinion, but I don't know where it's coming from. Frustration, the anger that exists in this fan base. But it's not logical. I'm more than happy to have the conversation, and maybe we'll pick up on it on the 8 o'clock show, but I can't find one logical reason to be pinning this on Ruben Amorim. I really, really can't. And if we knock Fulham out next Sunday and we get through Sociedad before the international break, all these people who've started on Amorim are going to look really silly. But I don't know why we're looking at. I don't know why we're looking at him really. I don't get it. But it stunned me last night, the volume of comments. They weren't bots that are against the manager already. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Get your comments in. Let's see what you've got to say. Smash a like on the video. We're back live at 8 o'clock.